So in a previous video, when I was demonstrating my oscilloscope, and I mentioned that it came with a bad USB cable, and that I had to repair it and get it going again because I didn't want to deal with the back and forth communication with the eBay seller and trying to get a new cable or a new device or blah blah blah. So I says, I got stuff here where I can fix it. So I determined that the cord was bad, the plug, the USB A plug was bad, and I determined that by uh, using a digital multimeter to tone out the between the ends to see if there was any life at one end or the other, and I determined that it was all good at the device side, but not at the USB end. So I used my last repair USB repair plug. So I needed to get some more. So I did make a comment on the particular ones that I use, and you can get these fairly inexpensive USB-A connectors that are a three-piece design. And I know that, and I did mention that the problem is these are great little connectors, but the little plastic housing that they come in is crap because they don't really hold together. So you got to find the right ends. So one of the plugs has got pins on it, and the other side has, of course, the female and the male half. You got to find that, and then you got your main plug here. So this is your main plug, and of course, it does require you to solder the connector. So you got to know where the connections are. So for me, since I don't do it very often, I use a little cheat board that I got here somewhere. It's not in that one. Here's my little cheat board. So if you don't remember that, you can buy these breakout boards and just use it for a demonstration. So for you to make it easier, of course the plug is directional. So you have the gap side toward the top, because that's usually how most USB connectors are come, but your mileage may vary because sometimes they're right set up and sometimes they're upside down. So we'll just say, just for kicks, that we'll put the gap side up, and then when you're looking at this thing from the underside, so if you're looking at it from the underside now, your very left side, so my left is the ground, and your voltage side is your right side, and then you got your two data lines, and they're exactly the opposite. So VCC, you got your data minus, your data plus, and then your ground. But if you're only interested in power, ground side is your left side, and your VCC side or your power side is on your right side, if you're looking at it like this. So you got the solder pins facing up. That's the orientation. And then when you're done soldering, you go ahead and put your connector in, and the two little nubs fit on the bottom of the plug. And then you put your top half down, and then theoretically it's supposed to stay together, but it doesn't, because you're going to rough out this thing, and there's just enough stuff in there where if you pry it, going up and down, you break them loose. Even if you try to glue it, you're still going to break them apart, and then you're always having to fuss with it. So that's what it's supposed to look like when it's all together, but it takes nothing to split them back open. I mean, yeah, you could super glue them, but then it's messy and not guaranteed it's going to hold. So they're okay if you're in a pinch and you don't care. But when I use them things, I just use some heat shrink and call it a day. So, like I mentioned, I needed more, so I bought more, and I bought a different type. So these came from Amazon, and these are the HTTX. There's 20 pieces of the USB 2.0A, blah, blah, blah. Repair replacement. These are a little different type connector, where you still got to solder them, unless you buy the terminal type, which are quite expensive. But these come in handy when you need a. If you got a decent cord and you wreck the plug on it, or something's wrong with it and you can't fix it. So same thing with these little guys. These guys got a little trap door that when you're done monkeying around, so you got to solder your wires. So you got your ground side, positive side, and then if you choose to do your data lines, data plus, data minus, positive, or I should say data minus, data plus, plus, you know what I mean. And then when you're done screwing around with this, you just shut this, and that's your plug. And yeah, it's not pretty, but it's the only thing that counts is that it functions. So I don't know how easy it is to pry it open. Even with that, they're easy to pry open. So more than likely, if you use these things, and once you button them up, you probably want to put a piece of heat shrink over it so it maintains integrity and doesn't keep opening and driving you nuts and everything like that. Or you can completely cheat, and if money is no object, then you can get these things. And these are, in case you want to temporarily fix something until you permanently want to put a plug on it, or you want to experiment. So these little guys are USB-A males, and they're the terminal type, detachable terminal. And these little guys are pricey, so you definitely don't want to be using these on a permanent level. So same thing with these guys, but if you don't, if you want to just fix it quick until you get a better plug or a replacement cable, then you can use these things. So these are USB-A's. They're actually quite nice. And on the top of the plug, it'll tell you the what wire to put what. So this one's got voltage, your VCCN on your left, and then your data minus, your data plus, and then your ground. And then you can just use a small little screwdriver to put your wires in just to get you going again. Or if you want to use this as a permanent expensive plug, then you can do that too. After you're done, they give you a little piece of heat shrink. So if you want to make this permanent, because money is no object, you're just like, yeah, I just use the good plugs. I don't need that cheap garbage. And then you can put your wire in, blah, 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 and then you can just shrink it down, and you're done. But I got these just for show and tell, and just in case you need to, fix a cord quickly and not have to fuss around with soldering, because some people they can't solder. So that's a good thing. And the connections do add up, so they are in the correct orientation. So you always got to kind of be mindful of some of that stuff, because sometimes China, they get things a little backwards. So that's it for this video of USB-A connectors, in case you need to repair one, just in case you need one because you got that unique cable that you'll never be able to find again, or maybe it's the unique length, or maybe it's just one of them rare unicorn heavy-duty cables that don't have any voltage loss and are an awesome cable, and you wreck the USB plug. So you got a couple options to fix them. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.